Next, error handling. Okay. See, even error handling also there may be certain questions. Okay. Even in certifications as well as interviews, you'll be having error handling questions. Okay. As per my observation, certification questions are more difficult than the interview questions when it comes to error handling, honestly speaking. If you're really clearing the certification with the help of actual knowledge without any dumps and all, exactly, okay, you'll be easily answering the error handling questions. Okay, fine. But hardly I have very less number of questions here. I haven't included the scenario based questions here. Okay, because of the time constraint. Okay, if possible, I'll try to add them also. Maybe around 3, 4 another scenario based questions, and I'll put the answers also for them, and then you'll be able to see that. But for time being, we'll see. Okay, see here. First of all, they'll ask you a question. Explain error handling. Okay. Now, how to start answer for this? How to start exactly?
I
See, I
mean,
have implemented. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Please go ahead.
I mean, when actually in Mule 4 we have on error, propagate, continue, and raise error. I mean, generally, if error exists, this error handler will raise the error and stop the flow execution. That is the basic thing.
Okay, okay, okay. See, we can start like this exactly. Okay, thanks for it. See how we can start. I have implemented error handling in my MuleSoft projects exactly. I have followed global error handling. Okay, for implementing global error handling, I have used the components on error propagate, on error component, on error propagate, on error continue. Okay, raise error, error handler. These are the 4 components which I have used. See, and one more thing, for whenever required to have a component level error handling, I have used try scope also. Okay, whenever a flow level error handler is required, I've used flow level. Okay, and then if flow level or component level is not required, I used to follow global error handling. Okay, then immediately there may be a question: how did you implement global error handling? Right? How to implement global error handling? Obviously, you will be separately creating a configuration XML file, and in that you will drag and drop the error handler component, and you will keep all the error types there. And in the final one, any error type will be kept. Okay, you will be covering all the error types, and then you will create a global element, right? And mention the property global element config property is there, right? There in default error handler you will mention the error handler which is already defined at the project level exactly. Now what happens wherever the project is having any error at that, already this our error handler is mentioned as a default error handler, right? It acts as a global error handler. Got it? Okay, clear. Now for example, you have, right? Okay, we have mentioned this. Okay, in this project it is not defined. We'll see. Transaction system API. Okay, we haven't mentioned it. See, we have a property called configuration. Here we have the option of selecting the default element. What happens? See, I have that. I can select this common error handler, right? Now, if I define this, this is the global error handling. Exactly. Okay. Now, wherever you have the error, that all errors will be routed to this particular error handler in your project. Exactly. Okay. And one more thing I wanted to tell you as part of error handling, there are certain organizations, what they will try to do, they will create a common error handler for the entire project of the organization, MuleSoft project. It's not related to only one MuleSoft project. I'm telling for the entire MuleSoft projects, exactly, or applications, they will create one common error handler and then they will publish it to Exchange as a project. Now, every time you should not define the error handling. You should add the dependency, import that into your project and use that error handling in your project. These are the two possible options. Okay, if you can tell this information, okay, you can tell, like I have almost all the time I have used global error handling, and to create the global error handling I used to create a separate configuration XML file and take the error handler component, and with the help of on error propagate on error continue, I used to capture the errors for the different type of error types, and finally whatever the errors which I am not able to capture, I used to mention any error type for the other error types, and I used to create a global element called configuration and mention the default error handler. Now this particular error handler is applicable for the entire configuration XMLs of your project. Is that clear? Okay. Now see how many components are there? I can tell there are 4 components to on error propagate, on error continue, raise error, error handler. And we know we have discussed in detail, right? Exactly, like what is the significance of each component exactly. Okay. And this is more than enough for this particular question. Okay, what is that? I told error components, I have discussed global error handling, I have told component level error handling, flow level error handling, right? To maintain flow level error handling, you have error handling at the bottom of your flow, right? There you can specify your error handling. That is one thing. If you wanted to do component level, you have try. If you want project level, then you have global error handler. Got it? Okay, fine. Now see, how do you manage business errors? What is this business error? See, there are generally system errors, okay, technical errors and business errors. What is system errors? Whenever there is a system is down or something like that, obviously there will be an error, right? Obviously. Okay, technical errors, there may be some problem with the uh, data view or expression errors or some sort of that kind of things. Obviously they will be receiving the technical errors. Now there are certain instances you wanted to raise because of the business requirement. For example, I have already discussed the example, I'll try to repeat that. I wanted to allow a request, okay, and validate that person's age is between 21 to 60 for the loan application. If he is below 21, it should be rejected. If it is above 60, the loan application should be rejected. Now I wanted to raise that error. Exactly. For example, if I want to raise error, now what happens? It is a business error, right? It will be in the flow somewhere. Now I need to raise the error. What I'll try to do, I'll take the raise error component and then I'll try to raise the error. Is there any other way to raise the error? Validation module. Okay, validation module is also there. See, I told you now between 21 to 60, right? There is a function for this there, is number. In that I can mention 21 age, 60 there. And if it is below 21 or after 60 or above 60, it will straight away raise the error. And in validation modules, what I can do, I can tell the error type also and I can tell the error message also. Okay, there may be a possible question, without using error components can you raise the error? By using validation module is it's possible. Okay, we can raise the error. On error propagate, on error continue, capture the error, right?
Yes.
Okay, raise the error. Raise the error is different. Capture the error is different. Capture the error based on the error type. Exactly. Any error type will capture the every error. And one more question: any error type, if it is in the top of the error handler, what happens? Any error will come to any only, and rest other components will be. If there is proper error type also, what happens? It will not go to that particular component exactly. That's why any has to be in the hierarchy at the last,
Last one.
because it is sequential. Error handler will process in sequential like choice router. First component it will check error type is there. If it is matching, okay. If it is not matching, it will go to the second, third, fourth, fifth. If nothing is matching, then it will go to any. If you keep any in the first, already it matched. It will not go to the second component exactly. Already we have seen that, I think, right? Fine. Now, how to raise business errors with the help of validation module and raise error. Now, what is the difference between on error continue and on error propagate? They may ask you what is on error propagate first and what is on error continue, and then maybe the difference also. Okay, fine. What is on error propagate? On
Whenever
error
raise,
hmm.
whenever raise the coming the error, that flow will stop
Okay,
itself. The flow will be stop itself.
okay.
On error continue means the flow will be continue. Sends
No, it flow on error continue also will stop the process, but
but
it sends the successful response.
successful
Okay, sir, chalo.
successful
Hmm.
response.
And
Next
coming to on error propagate, it will be shows like a one error response is a not 200 response. It will be get a 400 response. It's a bad request. And also on error continue means it will be success response. It will be shows like a 200. In anywhere we can put it the on error continue. It will be shows like 200 response successful or 201.
Yeah, yeah. See now, to what to say, phrase this properly. For example, how to do that? See, on error propagate is an error component which will help us to catch the errors based on the error type. Okay, based on the error type. Okay, on error propagate will stop the process and propagate the error response to the next level. To the next level.
Or
I'm not telling to
component.
the
Or component.
hmm?
We are assigning to component, right, sir? Mahesh?
Not component. Next level. If, for example, there is a parent flow, there is a child flow.
Yes, yes,
Child flow
yes.
has on error propagate. Now, what happens? Child flow error is raised. That error will be propagated to the parent flow, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm telling. It will stop the process and send the error response to the next level. If it is consumer, it will send to the consumer. If it is other flow, it will send to the flow. Okay, you got it right. I told next level. I'm not telling the to the client or consumer exactly. Okay. Now on error continue.
So
On error
what is the
continue.
purpose, if you don't mind? Sorry. So I mean,
Please.
on error propagate, if it shows it's gives 200 errors for next level, and you're saying that it stops the flow. I mean, what is the use of on error propagate if it stops the flow?
Uh,
Uh,
but flow it is will be not continue. The flow will be stop. But coming to the on error continue, it will be
no, no,
already
I'm
error
asking.
is there. Already error is there. But in that flow, it's a continue flow. It will be shows like a success response for the 200. Coming to the on error propagate, in this on error propagate, we are identify the error. Error is identified, but it will be shows a response. The flow is not continue. The flow it will be stop. It will be shows like a 400 or 401 bad request. We can identify, and also the flow it will be not continue, and on error propagate it will be shows like a 400 response bad request.
If you don't mind, in continue,
Yeah, I'll
then what?
explain. I'll
Yeah,
explain. I'll explain.
yeah, yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for someone has responded, right? Thanks for it. But anyway, I'll once again put it in a different manner with the help of a diagram here. Exactly.
Yes, yes, but in that manner means you can explain the parent and child flow, Mahesh, right? That's
Yeah, yeah. I'll do without parent and child with parent and child. See, whenever we have a flow, obviously we have source, process, and error handling, right? Source, process, error handling. Okay.
continue,
Now,
continue and propagate is there.
no, no, wait. I'll just explain both the scenarios. Okay, if you
Yes, yes,
require, if you have doubt, then you can ask me. For
sure.
example, for my easy reference, I'm making it as big for error handling. Now, the first case is this is on error propagate. Yes. Okay. Now, error type is some HTTP connectivity. Now, I have some components here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is HTTP requester, and I got some error. Now HTTP requester will be raising the error, and what is that error? HTTP connectivity error, and error type matched here. It came here, right? This is on error propagate, right? Now what happens exactly? This will stop the process here itself, okay? And there are some components here. This will be executed, and it will send the response to the listener. In listener also, you have success response, error response. Now this will go to error response, and error response will be propagate. Okay, here also the process and sent error response. Now I want to same flow, I want it with on error continue. Same error, I got on error continue. Okay, now see here also it stopped the process. Okay, it executed these components, and then is this clear? If it is one flow, no parent, no child. Any question here?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that on error continue will send successful response and the flow will continues. It doesn't
No,
stop
no,
the
no,
flow condition.
that's what I told. This is single flow.
Okay.
See here, it went to the success response section of the listener and sent the success response. This is okay. This is on error propagate. This is on error. Both stop the process. Only change is sending the success response, sending the error response. Okay, is that clear? Now I'll go to a another. I have two flows now. One parent flow, one child flow. Okay. Already we discussed as part of our project requirement exactly. Okay, for your understanding I'm doing it now. Source, process, okay, error handler. Okay, sorry, I need a little bit. Okay, chalo, this one can be smaller. Now there is another flow. Okay, this is error handling. This is source. Okay. Now, for example, I have some components here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is flow reference. This is parent flow, and this is child flow. And from flow reference, I got the request to here. Now this is HTTP, and I got connectivity error. I have on error continue. First see the on error continue here. Now there are some components here. Now HTTP connectivity error, right? Already. Okay, it got the error and it will come here. Now what happens? I told next level, right? What is this? I told continue. This will pass the success response to flow reference. Now, as it received success response, what it will try to do? It will try to go to the next component, and then is this clear?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Same case
Yes.
I will take with on error continue.
ಇದು another continuous.
Sorry, on error propagate. Sorry. I'll change it here with on error propagate. Right? Now it will send the error response to flow reference. Now this particular does it have any error handling here? No, right? Now what happens? Here error is raised. Now it will go to error response. Is that clear?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is the difference. We need to understand very, very clearly. I told next level. I didn't tell it as a consumer or client. Who is consumer? Whoever is sending the request or request exactly. Fine. Is that clear? I think. Now, shall I proceed to the next question, right?
Yes.
Mahesh,
Yes, please.
yeah, can instead of honor continue, can we use the success code validators under listener responses? Are they both same or different?
See, success code validator will be helpful only for HTTP, right? If it is database, I wanted to continue despite an error with database, for example. Can you use success code validator?
Yeah, okay, got it, Mahesh.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, fine. I'll go ahead.
Mahesh,
Yes, yes.
using of different types of try.
Hmm?
Hello,
Yeah, yeah, please, please.
Mahesh,
Hmm.
my voice is
Please
audible
go.
for you?
Yes, yes, it is
Yeah,
audible.
okay.
I missed somewhere. Hmm.
Yes, okay, thank you. And coming to why are you not mentioned Triscope here?
Where?
In sometimes it will be mostly required in the projects, mostly some single component we are using the Triscope, right?
Here, see here. Next 4 or 5 are on Triscope only.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
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 Without try, obviously error handling is incomplete. Okay.
Yes, mostly we are using the overall flow handling of the using error handling, single
Hmm.
component of the using Triscope.
Not only
That's
single
what.
component, multiple components also can be wrapped in a Triscope.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
See, whenever you wanted to raise an error for a 3 or 4 components or 5 components or a single component, I told component level error handling can be achieved through try scope. I already discussed that in the first discussion itself. When we started about error handling, I told component level error handling can be achieved through try. It means that not only single component, multiple components can be inside the try scope. We call it as a scope because multiple components can be placed inside that exactly. Okay, whenever there is a error for that, then we can do it exactly. Okay, fine. Now, how to raise errors without using error components? I told you, right? Validation module can be utilized exactly. Next, how to handle errors in a subflow? See, error subflow doesn't have error flow or error management, right? Obviously, what happens? It will inherit the error crossing strategy from parent flow. It cannot be an individual flow. Somewhere with the help of flow reference, we are trying to call the subflow, and error handling strategy will be inherited from parent flow. Exactly. Okay. In that context, exactly. Now I wanted to include error handling in subflow also. How do we do that? With the help of try scope. So use the try scope inside the subflow and configure the error handling part of the try scope. See, generally, do we do this? Mostly will not. Okay, then you can go for a private flow, right? If required. Okay, but in interview point of view, they may ask you this kind of questions. They want to check your clarity. Okay. Next, how to continue processing after an error occurs inside the for each scope. See, there is a for each scope. What happens generally in for each scope? Whenever there is an error, immediately it will stop the process and it will propagate the error. For example, there are 10 items which needs to be processed. Fifth item, I got the error. Immediately at fifth item itself, it will stop the process and it will propagate the error back. But I don't want to do that. I wanted to continue the process also, irrespective of what? Error. Next one has to be processed exactly. Then what should we do? What is the answer for that?
I think in try scope we should keep on error continue.
Yeah. Where should we place the on error continue try? Inside for each.
Insert for it, yeah.
See. Got it? And on error continue for the specific errors. For example, like you wanted to mention, is here I didn't mention anything. Then it will pick any error, right? Already we know that. If you don't mention anything or if you mention any, both are same only. If you wanted to mention a specific error type, you need to mention it. Got it? Inside for each, I wrapped in a try scope and then I placed a on error continue. What happens here? Whenever there is an error also, it will try to continue with the next one. It will complete the whole process and then it will send the, okay, fifth record failed, right? Sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth also will be processed and it will be giving the total response for us. We need to aggregate the response and then keep it and then we need to pass the response to the next component exactly. Okay, that is the question. Okay, how to handle okay, how to continue processing after an error occurs inside the for each exactly. Now, how to continue processing after an error occurs inside parallel for each? Same. Use try scope inside the parallel for each. See, copy and paste mistake. Okay, fine. And honor continue in the error handling part of try exactly. The same way we can achieve. Next, how to continue processing after an error occurs in one of the roots of scatter gather. See what happens in the scatter gather.
It splits the same. I mean, what is the
What is the
question?
error
Sorry.
type raised exactly?
What is the question? Sorry.
What is the error type raised exactly whenever there is an error in one of the roots? For example, think this as a scatter gather.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll copy this. I'll make this little big. Okay. Some components are there. For example, here, obviously in the scatter gather roots, this is root 1, root 2, and root 3. I told there is a problem in one of the roots, right? The request is scattered. Okay, mule event, same mule event will be sent to each root, right? Mule event. Okay, and now the processing will start in all the roots parallelly. Okay, and then for example, I told here some error is coming.
Yeah.
What happens here?
Stops.
We will get the aggregated output of 3 routes, but in route 1 we will get the error information.
Whether it will go to the next component or not.
Overall flow is stop, scatter gather. In case if you have a on error continue, it will be placed. It will be go to the next step, but
On
it
error,
will
on
be
error
placed
continue,
on error.
yeah, on error continue where exactly?
Okay, and first of all, we are route 1. We are placing.
Hmm.
We are placing
Okay.
the route 1. If in case any error is happen, it will be flow continue on the route 2. If in case again we are route 2 have a placing a error, causing a error, and
Okay.
it
Yeah.
will be
Sorry to
place on
interrupt.
error continue. Again, it will be passed into the route 3.
Yeah.
Again,
Sorry to
we are
interrupt.
so many.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt you. There is some problem with your network, I feel. I'll continue exactly because we are not able to hear it properly. Okay. There is some cracks exactly.
Yeah.
Please wait. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. See what happens. There are 3 routes, right? Okay. Route 2 will be processed. Route 3 will be processed. Route 1 raise the error. Now mule composite routing error will be raised. See, the error raised first, but route 2 will complete its process. Route 3 also will complete the process. Okay. And then the response will be aggregated and stop the process and propagate the error. Right? This is the case. But I don't want this. I wanted to, if I get error in any of the routes, I wanted to continue further. Okay. Now what I should do, I should wrap all the components in route 1 in try and on error continue here. Here also try on error continue. Now what happens? Route 1 raised error. Okay. All will be processed. On error continue, right? That's why it will try to process to the next. And then further process will be continued. For example, next time route 2 failed. Even then route 2 failed also. Try is there, on error continue is there. It will go there. Okay. See, in all the routes you have incorporated all the components in a try block and kept in on error continue. Exactly. Okay, that is the question. Is that clear? Any question here?
Mahesh, it will process all the routes parallelly, right? Not sequentially.
Yeah, yes, that is the characteristic of a scatter gather, right? Still I am not in a scatter gather. That's the reason I'm not. Obviously everyone knows it at this point of time. Everyone knows it is a concurrent or parallel processing. It will wait
Yeah.
for the other. What is the characteristic of a scatter gather? For example, route 1 completed in 100 milliseconds. This one 50 milliseconds. This one in 250 milliseconds. This one completed in 100 milliseconds. This first, which one is completed? There, I told you concurrently, same mule event is passed. This is completed it will wait at the scatter gather point for the root 1 and root 3. Second, root 2 received first, then root 1 received. Then also it will wait for the root 3. Okay, concurrent or parallel processing is happening. Is that clear?
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
because
Mahesh.
here my intention is to explain the error handling, not the scatter gather. Okay, any other questions?
Means we don't have anything, suppose third party API I'm calling at that time, retry option 5 times, 6 times, 3 times kind of thing.
See,
I'm
that's what
not general.
exactly.
Okay.
See here, already that is discussed as part of the project. Generally, I'm telling you, retry or reconnection strategy will work for only connectivity errors, right? Exactly. See, I took randomly one HTTP connectivity error for you at this point of time. There may be some DB connectivity error or HTTP bad gateway or HTTP resource not found or what kind of maybe different kind of errors, right? But reconnection strategy will work for only HTTP connectivity error and it will try to retry for 3 times or 4 times or 5 times only whenever there is a HTTP connectivity error, not in other cases.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Any other question?
Is
Hello.
there
I have
any
one
way we
question.
can implement retry mechanism other than until successful scope?
See, your voice is not clear. Firstly, it is very low and there is some noise at the background. Can you please repeat it once again?
Is there any way we can implement reconnection retry strategy other than using until successful scope?
Using other than
Until
until successful.
successful scope.
See, until successful is different and the reconnection strategy is different, right? Where is reconnection strategy available? Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me where is reconnection strategy available? Okay, all kind of connectors. Mostly, if you observe database connector, you have reconnection strategy. If you observe HTTP requester, you have reconnection strategy. Okay. See, until successful for trying out different errors. Reconnection strategy, I told you, it is only for connectivity error.
Connectivity.
Now DB is not getting connected. I explained in detail, I think, if you
Yes.
observe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
5 attempts I kept it. First attempt is not connected. Some error, connectivity error. Second attempt, connectivity error. Third attempt, that network fluctuation is gone and it is proper now. Because of that reconnection strategy, what happens? You will be able to connect to that. But until successful, irrespective of any error, okay, it will try to
Connect.
retry for 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, whatever the specified number of attempts exactly. That you need to wrap it in a until successful scope and you should keep that particular connector inside that. Okay. Until successful
I have
is
one question.
different. Reconnection strategy is different.
Hello.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question. In the scatter data, if any one of the
Mm-hmm.
route gets error, like in middle of
Hmm.
the any of the components we get error, so the thing will be that route will be not processed and flow will be going to second router, right? So in
Hmm.
that case, how will you get to know which route has failure? Like this route failed, this route failed, because we're putting on a container, right? So at the end, how will we get to know like
Yeah,
which
yeah. It
route
will.
got
It will
failed?
be. It will be. See, already, what happens? Even in this particular instance, it failed here, right? It will stop here. It will not
Yeah.
continue here. It is stopping the process at the second component of route 1. Got
Yes.
it?
Yes.
It stopped the process here. It means that the rest two components are not processed. Okay. And what will be the
Correct.
response here? In the
Okay, by the response we'll get to know.
on error component, I will define to capture the error, right? Okay. And root
Okay, got
one,
it.
I can extract it from gather. What is the output response exactly from scatter gather? Object of all mule events, right?
Okay, got it.
Object of all mule events. If I wanted first root one, what would be the response? Payload of zero dot payload. In payload, I have set the error response here. I can see, right?
Yeah, got it. Got it.
Okay, fine. Any other questions? Okay, fine. I'll proceed further. See, already explained global array handler has been discussed, right? Okay. I think, see, there may be some 3, 4 scenario based questions which I can incorporate here. Okay. At this point of time, I'm already we discussed one honor a propagate and honor a continue, right? That may be a scenario based question. Okay. Those kind of questions. If you observe the certification based questions also, you can get there, or I'll incorporate 3, 4 questions here and give the answers also. Then obviously you'll be able to see that exactly. Okay.